We're live. Believe we're live? Oh, I realized I did not set up the Twitter or the Blue Sky. But hello, I believe I'm live. Let's see if I can. YouTube is being particularly weird tonight. But oh, I hear my Aussie adventure. Was that Iggy Azalea in this ad? Why is she in a? That wasn't her, right? In the Australia. Oh my god, 2 ads. Jesus, YouTube. Like, come on now. Oh my god, this is like impenetrable. Okay. I think I'm here. Can I hear me? Okay, alright. I forgot to set up the. Hold on. I forgot to do it. It was a little bit of a shit show starting off. But I'm glad you're all here tonight. And apologies for. I'm going to send out the skeet and then say hello to people. And then I'll send out the tweet. I say hello to. Thank you, Cornbread, for reminding me. Thank you. Hello to Sinram, Nathaniel Foga, Purple Goop, Dan, Pup, Sinram again. Sorry, Austin. I thought I saw St. Powers earlier. K Master, Javier Portello, Jordan Salafalo. Hello, everyone. Apologies. I was trying to change up the thumbnail, and YouTube was not being very understanding on the matter. But we're here. We got it going. It's tweeted out, and here we go. All right. Welcome to another episode, show, whatever, what have you, of Movie Crap Live. I'm sorry about that, Cornbread. I really threw Cornbread off because I was like, Lobo's gonna be in it, and then I looked at it and go, I don't like this. I don't know. Anyway, it's hard to do the thumbnail. Hey, what's up? I'm in the. I guess you could tell I'm in the. Oh, we got to turn this off. I turned it on to make sure all the placements are good early on. Anyway, no, I just didn't like it, and it's hard when you have a show that's not as like there isn't a huge story, so you're kind of picking, and I don't know, maybe you should have done Butch Hartman instead, whatever. But how the fuck are y'all doing? I hope you guys are had a good week, having a good night, all that stuff. Yeah, there's a bunch of movie news to talk about in general, but before we get into that, I tried to watch, and I think I mentioned I was gonna watch Lost in Starlight, and I'm hoping we don't either. That's not something I don't like. I try to use my links on the phone, which didn't seem to help, but I hope we're okay. I hope I did. Well, we'll see. But anyway, yeah, I tried to watch Lost in Starlight, which was nominated for the Annie's and Best Independent Film, I believe. And I kept like coming back to it, and then I just gave up because it was really not interesting. It's like, not that it was boring. It just like, I was like, man, I did not give a shit about these people. Like, so I guess that's sort of a review, but I admittedly did not finish it. So I'm not going to put out a review, but I just like, the design was cool, but I was just like, whatever. And then my wife and I have been watching, I think we're 2 episodes in, and I think there's 3 of the Take That documentary on Netflix. And that was interesting because I know some of that. I don't know the Gary Barlow stuff super well. And if you watched Lost in Starlight is what it was called. Was it Lost in Starlight? Am I saying that wrong? Lost in Star. Yeah, I did say it right. Okay, that's just me. The Take That movie or documentary series was pretty good, and it's also filling in gaps because I know the Robbie Williams stuff a little bit more. But if you liked Better Man, I think it's a good thing like that. But it's a good watch. Also, I'm just gonna, because there's a lot of stuff. We're actually doing 2 segments tonight. So I'm kind of trying to move along. I haven't fully figured out. Tomorrow I'm gonna decide if I just delete my TikTok account or I just have it. I don't post anything more. I didn't post anything since all the stuff has come out. I know it's run by the daddy Ellison, not the Ellison that has Paramount. And I did look on it, and oh my god, that algorithm is like that. It's all fucking worse now. I was like, what the fuck happened? Like um just today, I was like, this is like not fun. Where's my ice wall content? I want my fucking ice wall content where I learned about the ice wall and how the Earth not only is flat but is part of multiple Earths and this huge Earth sea and stuff. That was crazy. And now it's all like people doorbell cameras. I mean, that's fine, but none of them were scary. This, come on, man. I just, no abandoned buildings. Like, how am I supposed to get scared at 2 p.m. at work where I should be working? Oh shit, sorry. Um. Anyway, it sucks now. I'm just like, this immediately sucks. Like, I used to have such a great algorithm. I learned about the ice wall, and now what I know about nothing. Disappointing. I don't know if it's affecting Canada. I just know, I don't know. I might. That's the other thing I don't love about leaving a thing just because it's U.S. based. I don't know. It's like, I'm not sure. I'm definitely not going to post on it, but I'm also like, the combination of I make no money from that shit, and also, um, one less thing to do in my life is like, yo, I go away. Just get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. You can go away. It's fine. One less thing to do. I was like, that actually felt very relieving. I know. I don't know. I might just delete it, um, on my phone, but I don't know. We'll see. But I'm not gonna. I guess I won't do those like the ranking things anymore. That's the only RAP to those. Those are kind of fun. But I'm also like, maybe those weren't creatively the greatest thing. Obvious filler content, and I like the songs are like I put some work into that, but I mean everything is ass in its own fucking way. I there is the national strike tomorrow. I mean, I'm still going to work, all that stuff. I'm probably not going to post anything that day, but I'm usually pretty burned out. So, uh, I don't know. I'm not sure its effectiveness or anything like that, but I do think it's necessary to protest, particularly what's going on with ICE, which I do not support, which I think I don't support. But I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm confused about this one in particular, but I know a lot of people like my wife is doing it and stuff, and I can't really do that. But I don't know. I'm not sure about the whole thing, to be honest with you, but I do think it's good to protest. So I'm like that. I'm not sure how effective or how widespread it is or all that stuff, but I wish I could more. It's just hard when you're, you know, kind of just hanging on there to just leave work. You can't really just throw away a vacation day or a sick day and all that stuff. So I think some of those things are, you know, you have more availability for it than others, sometimes, and I think people don't realize that. I also, I don't know. Anyway, we'll move on from that. But nothing tomorrow. Probably, definitely something on Saturday. But I'm usually really tired tomorrow, so. But yeah, no, I think TikTok would have died, and I think TikTok was on the end. Uh, um, I had noticed its popularity had been decreasing, and I think it's the same reason why Instagram killed, what was it, like Vine or Snapchat and stuff. Like at a certain point, you're like, I mean, this thing is on YouTube. Could I just do that? So, you know what I mean? Anyway, all right, this is a very rambling one. Let's just get into everything. I don't think I have much else to say. I hope you like the videos. All You Need Is Kill was yesterday. Avatar 3. The seeing Avatar thing, as well as other. What was the other things? Oh, there's a bunch of stuff. You should just go watch it, and all that. Um, and yeah, let's. Sorry, I feel like I lost the plot there. Let's get into it. All right, this and everything I do is supported by you, the fans. Either through super chats during the show where I will reveal my energy drink. I have one. I didn't do any clues this week, but it's right over here, the energy drink. So if you give the first super chat, we'll reveal what it is. Either your super chats where I read it out and all that fun stuff. We get to $20, I'll light up the Godzilla lamp, and if we get to 40, multiples of 40, I will have Godzilla do his roar behind him. But you can also support the Patreon, which has all sorts of cool exclusive shit like postcards, my commentary series, More Power in the Movie Review Vote. You have access to my public access show and all sorts of videos and different edits and everything like that, and all sorts of cool stuff. And it very much helps me to continue to do what I do here. If you like the stuff, it's a great way to support the show and to continue the videos flowing. However, if you are financially not able to, then just liking this video and subscribing and turning notifications on if you would like to. I know some people forgot about me for a little bit because of weird notification nonsense, so make sure you're subscribed, of course, if you want to be. If not, just watching the show and checking it out is support, and I very much thank you for being here. As well as we have the Discord. The Discord, which is a wonderful community run by Austin Cornbread, Zane Powers, and Ryan Walterson. They do a movie watch every Saturday night. I believe they're doing one this Saturday. I don't know what movie they're doing. They have a general chat where I ask, like, what do you want me to talk about in movie crap? Cornbread does his thumbnail predictions. All sorts of cool shit like that. As well as artist self-promo movie crap discussions, which I do check. Come up with stories on this show, all sorts of cool stuff like that. So if you would like to join, they're watching War of the Worlds. I'm assuming the one from the 50s. That's the one from the 50s. That's definitely the War of the Worlds they're watching. That is definitely the one that they're watching. But yeah, let's fully get into it. We do have 2 segments tonight, and bringing back Chilly Willy and A for Angel, which is more of a short. But oh, it's on Sunday. Oh, I'm sorry, I read that wrong. They're doing the movie watch on Sunday, not Saturday. So you want to do the movie watch Saturday during the Grammys. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, we all know which War of the Worlds. It's obviously the Tom Cruise one. That is the one it is. It's obviously what it is. Anyway, all right. So I'm just trying to get into it because I'm worried about running out of time. No, it's the book. It's a book club now. No, it's the radio program. What was it called? I need to do a review of that at some point. The Orson Welles radio broadcast. And then what was that? Space Invaders? I used to love that thing where space aliens actually showed up. If there was yeah. Also, let's give a shout out to Cineram. He's been doing the timestamps here, and I really do appreciate it. So, he's a huge help with that. So, yeah. But anyway, I'll get into the show now. If you want to do any super chats, I will reveal this energy drink to give me energy, and it'll help out the show and all that. Sorry to bring it up as much as I do. I apologize. Hey, Super Kirby dude. Anyway, the Super Mario Galaxy second trailer came out with Yoshi, which I think was the big reveal. It appears Yoshi's actually voiced by its actual voice actor and not a celebrity, although I kept seeing people on Twitter say it was Kendrick Lamar. I don't understand that joke, but I don't believe it is Kendrick Lamar playing Yoshi, unless I'm wrong. Maybe he's just doing that. Yoshi looked really cool. It was very Yoshi-centric. It had that, I don't know who that pink character is who shoots out the eggs. They were there, so that's cool. But it was mainly about Yoshi. I do have to say that I do think the Mario Galaxy trailer campaign is pretty good because each trailer has more info, gets you hyped. They're good trailers, much better than the Doomsday trailers. Actually, I thought it's like man, Mario Galaxy is kind of killing it. I understand they're going to give more info because we're closer to Galaxy than Doomsday, but the first trailer and the second one, they're not even identical. I don't even think they Oh, hello to Birdo. Oh, it's Birdo? Oh, okay. Hey, Ryan Walterson's here. Of course, he's the first one to correct me. But yeah, no, he should, because that's what he does. That's what he's supposed to. I need someone to. But yeah, I do think it looks really cool, and every trailer not really even having that much of the same footage. And do check out Cineram's channel, by the way. I do think shows oh, cool, there's so much here. It's a really good ad campaign. I really like how Universal is doing it. We will get into the Browser Junior thing later with the Safdie brothers, but it is I think it is a good ad campaign. I liked seeing Yoshi. It was cool seeing Yoshi. I mean, we knew Yoshi because he's at the end of the first movie, but it was weird when they didn't show him in the first trailer. You're like, wait, is he going to be a big thing in this? Like, feels like no, he's not. I am curious how they're going to introduce all the characters and like how many of these. Hey, Anthony, how many of these are going to have, a million fucking characters and everything like that? Like, is this going to get overwrought? That's something I've actually thought about. Man, YouTube is being very weird. I'm really hoping for. Are we gonna have? Wait, is he already gonna get too cluttered and stuff? Which is something I'm definitely thinking is gonna happen at this point. But we'll see. We'll see. But I like seeing Yoshi. It was fun. I'm excited for it to come out, and it got pushed up 2 days to April 1st, which I'm not sure. Uh, um, I'm not sure why move it up. Like I know a lot of kids like spring breaks are coming like around then, so it might be like something like that. But I'm also like, can't we just wait for the weekend? I'm not sure. Oh, good for you. I'm not sure what the deal is with that. Next up, no, I've heard it is definitely the original Yoshi. I was surprised. It's interesting, like, they'll do all these celebrity casting, and then they'll be like, I guess Tails is just this lady, whatever. Or I guess, I guess they give up at a certain point. I'm not sure. Or they're like, how much are we spending? Just like, how much is this voice actor? And guarantee you they're not paying him as well as Chris Pratt. Unfortunately. Um, so next, this is not the trailer section. These are just the two big trailers I want to talk about at the beginning. Lobo in Supergirl. It was basically a big reveal that Jason Momoa is playing Lobo and what he looks like. I was surprised why now, but they did it on Friday and showed who Lobo looked like. I think Jason Momoa is kind of a guy who is born to be um Lobo. I mean, it's sort of weird that he was Aquaman before Lobo. Like, I think future generations are just going to be like, yeah, that's just he was always Lobo. It looks like a good part for him. I do think that'll help, bring up interest for Supergirl. I think Supergirl is going to be an interesting sell, but I also think like a lot of people are going to see Supergirl are people who didn't see Superman. It's going to appeal to like girls and women and stuff like that. Supergirl does have her own following, but I do think they're going to have to market it correctly. Maybe they're like, well, let's get the guys who see all the DC movies in here. But hey, Medela Butterfly, first super chat of the night. Cheers to you, 130. That's a different one for you, Medela Butterfly. So I will reveal the energy drink. We didn't do an energy drink clues. I'm not sure if people are into that. Maybe I should. But it is a cherry cola Celsius. I think I've done this before. I don't know. But I'm down for Supergirl. I'm going to take Sophie, and I'm excited to. Cheers to you all. I needed that. Thank you. That's very cherry cola tasting. But yes, I do think Supergirl. I mean, it is interesting. Jason Momoa is coming back, but I think he's probably a bigger star than people realize. Like, how much did he make off Minecraft? Like, he was a producer on that. Like, he's in a lot of huge stuff. So I do think he has a certain draw to him. But I am noticing, like, when there's that discussion on, I was saying this in my Avatar 3 review, but I really do believe it. Like, how we view celebrity is not based on who talks about someone on social media or Instagram or something. It's usually, who brings in people. And there's people who are like huge on TV who, if I tweeted a shitty comment about them, like no one's going to even care. And I do think like Mark Harmon is probably like one of the biggest actors in the world, but we never hear about him. You know what I mean? So I do think it's like kind of a weird thing sometimes. And I think Momoa kind of goes into that because most of us, like, we don't think about him. Although I heard he's kind of a shitty person, but whatever. I mean, aren't they all shitty people? In one way or another. I know that's a dissent. But, all right. I wanted to talk about a few Oscar things. I would like to do my Oscar nominations breakdown. I honestly have not even gotten to work on it. I would like to do a bonus stream about it at some point because I do like literally going through everything. But I haven't gotten the chance to. So that might just be a random one. I know it's like sort of a dry thing, but it's just like a thing I like to get all this info for, and we'll see if you guys are down for it and all that stuff. So eventually, but Oscar stuff. Two things. I did realize this today, and I was like, I haven't heard much talk about this, but no black director has ever won Best Director, which I'm surprised we aren't bringing up more with uh, Ryan Coogler specifically, because he is like, it's sort of between him and Paul Thomas Anderson, and I think that would give Ryan Coogler the edge. I'm surprised more people aren't bringing that up at all. Like I'd not heard about it. Not that I came up with it. The fact has been around, like, since there's been a Best Director award, but and I'm not acting like I came up with it, but I just, I am curious about that. The other thing is, I've heard a lot of people say, I really don't like this whole thing of this is a bad film year, this is a bad Oscar year, this is a bad whatever the fuck. I'm very sick of that shit. It's really stupid. There's always good movies. There's always interesting stuff to watch. But the other thing is, I did think about, why do people say that? Is it, racism? Probably. But aside from the racism, I also think it's because how many times on the show, when I talk about box office, we talking about an Oscar movie, and it After the Hunt, or Smashing Machine, or so many Oscar hopefuls that just like came and went, and there were so many of them this fall, like really happened quite frequently, that I think people think, oh, it's a bad Oscar year, but it's just that all of them kept falling the fuck off. So I think it's like more that what was maybe going to be the Oscar year in September is not what the Oscar year became, and it looked like it was going to be more varied, but it just didn't work out that way. And I understand people are confused about that, but it happens every year. It's just so many of them are so high profile. But I mean, we all knew it was going to be one battle after another. It looked like it was going to be Sinners. I think it's like things like Train Dreams and Frankenstein and all those getting as many. It's because a lot of those films didn't, or like Jay Kelly, or so many just didn't become anything awards wise. So it's just like, what you thought it was going to be is not what it turned out to be, which is every Oscar. I just think this one was rather fucking extreme. Which is not Sinners or One Battle After Another's fault. It's like all those other movies' fault. But I would like to watch Smashing Machine. I hope to have my Marty Supreme review soon. But when I kind of would like to see Smashing Machine. I'll talk about the Safdies in a little bit. Anyway, guys, this is the hype part of the show. I didn't put this in the thumbnail because there's too much hype around it. The National Film Registry is fucking here, dude. It's here. They came out. This is apparently the 2025 list because I watched the Library of Congress video. Yeah, that's right. I did it. I watched it all. I get so into this. Do I look at these lists after? No. But do I look at it when it comes out? Yes. And I get hyped. So we're going to list off because, as you know, there's a lot of Oh, you fucking went away? Come on. As you know, I get hyped for these. And if you are a true Bing Crosby, a Cros head, as we call it, the Bing Crosby head, as we do, we were very excited since he got two movies. I didn't see anybody else getting 2 movies in this fucking list except for Bing fucking Crosby. Is he possibly the worst person to have ever starred in a movie? That is, yeah, probably. But he had 2 movies. All right, we're going to list them off time-wise. Get hyped. Tramping the Dog. I know. Controversial. The Oath of the Sword, 1914. Previous one was 1896. The Maiden of Macmillan, 1916. The Lady, 1925. I haven't seen any of this shit. Sparrows, 1926. It's 100 years old, right? Anyway, there's so much Melania. I'll talk about Melania after this. Jesus, you guys are really into Melania. 10 Nights in Baroom, 1926. I think I said that. White Christmas, 1954. High Society, both. Those are for the Cros nuts right there. Brooklyn Bridge, 1981. That's the first big Ken Burns thing, by the way. Say Amen Somebody. The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. I don't know why it says The Thing. And that got in there by popular vote. That is not, they didn't pick that. The people pick that. The Big Chill. I don't know about that one. Karate Kid. Glory. Philadelphia. Before Sunrise. Clueless. 295 movies. Cool. The Truman Show. Frida. I never liked it when I saw it, but maybe I'll watch it again. The Hours. The Incredibles. The Wrecking Crew, which is not the movie with Kevin James and Alan Richardson. Is that or Jason Momoa? Or the movie that she sees in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's none of those. It's like a documentary. I had to look. I was like, the one in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Really? Are we? Are we? Are we sure? Okay. All right. I just want. I was like confused. I was like, oh, it's like about like the band that, like a studio musician band. The Loving Story, and then finally Grand Budapest Hotel. Grant Wes Anderson did a cool thing. If you watch the Library of Congress video, that he brings up, he used a lot of Library of Congress resources to actually make the Grand Budapest Hotel. It is like not my favorite Wes Anderson whatsoever, but I know it was nominated for a lot of Oscars. I don't know. It's not really my favorite, but he made a good point of like he used the Library of Congress a lot to make the film, which I thought was cool because trust, I'm sure the Library of Congress needs it right now. I I like this list. My happiest ones on here, older films I wasn't as shocked by. White Christmas and High Society, I'm like, you didn't do that before. I'm more of a Crosby fan with Road to Morocco, Road to the Yukon, those sort of things. Not those as much. White Christmas, I've watched it a bunch of times. White Christmas is, I think it should probably go in there. It's part of the whole thing there. The Big Chill, I guess. My parents never were always like, oh, don't watch The Big Chill. Watch The Return of the Secaucus 7, which they felt was, The Big Chill was a shittier version of that, which, by the way, there's nothing to back that up. They just have always thought that. I'm good for them. Karate Kid, I think, should be in there. John Carpenter's thing is John Carpenter should have a lot of movies in here. That if this is supposed to preserve recordings that make up American society, I mean, all of his big ones like Halloween, The Thing, Escape from New York, They Live, all of it should be in there. So, anyway. Thank you for the super chat, Sinram. Said, if you have cable TV and subscribe to HBO, you get HBO Max for free. You can stream Superman 2025 and the Batman via HBO Max, but you can't on demand either of them via regular HBO. Weird. It's a weird. There is a reason for that. And cheers to you, Syndrome. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. The on demand thing is like a weird separate thing that those companies really respect for some reason. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense, but I mean, largely they're different rights, apparently. But yeah, that doesn't make a lot. Especially those are like, you'd think one of those would be, but I think it's like depends on when they actually play on the channel or something. Anyway, wait, what has Cruel Summer in it? What are we talking? Rushmore? What? I'm very confused. The Karate Kid? I'm confused what we're talking about there. But anyway, yeah, I like the list. The Incredibles definitely should be on there. The Truman Show. It is interesting what films get the headlines. It was, for this one, it was usually Clueless and The Incredibles and The Thing, where the three I saw brought up a lot. The Bing Crosby things, I am okay. High Society is a weird one because it's like, it's just a remake of the Philadelphia Story, right? I mean, it's like the Philadelphia Story is like a lot better. So I've always like not been as big into High Society because a lot of people were like, "Isn't it nice?" I'm like, "Why don't I just fucking watch the Philadelphia Story?" I don't understand this. So because it's just like a remake of that, right? I mean, that's like the whole deal with that thing. I think. Wait, what Cruel Summer? Not the the 80s. Okay, see, that's why I was confused. It was like the Taylor Swift song. Okay, why are you? Man, YouTube is being very strange tonight. Very, like, just turning off. Okay, sorry. I was like, that's why I was confused. I thought you meant, ooh, whatever. Anyway, but like the Truman Show should be in there. The Incredibles, absolutely. I heard all sorts of weird takes on Twitter and Blue Sky about like, oh, people hate Marvel movies, but they're okay with this. I think it's because it is like, it's like Watchmen and it's sort of Fantastic Four and it's like the retro futurism and Brad Bird's direct. It's like a lot of things. I don't know. I'm very much getting sick of it. I've noticed this trend with like newer cinephiles where they're like, well, this and this are the same thing, do the same thing. So, they're really the same quality. And I'm like, no, they're fucking not. Here's what I'm going to tell you. about that. This is a real thing. You know what movie has the same plot as Casablanca? Barbed Wire. You're not convincing me. Barbed Wire is as good as Casablanca. All right, that's just like it's like fairly identical as I've heard. And even when I looked it up, I'm actually gonna finally see Barbed Wire for the first time soon because I've never seen it. I'm like, I should get because of the Mystery Science Theater, the movie thing, and it was anyway. It's all when I make the video, you'll see. But I was like, I've always known that is the same plot as Casablanca. Like that is no. I don't understand that. Like it's so weird. Like people are just like. I think a lot of people want to make a good film point and don't think about, but what the point they're making. But I mean, I also think The Big Chill's fine being in there because it is very influential. Karate Kid, I'm surprised was in there already. I would like more 80s horror. Like I think Friday the 13th should be in Nightmare on Elm Street. I should look at what's in there and what shouldn't be in there and should and all that stuff. I'm also disappointed. There's always usually one animated film. I'd like there to be more. But it is interesting when they do the. It's better than Castle. The action is more memorable. Anyway, I just find it bizarre. Anyway, whichever. Moving on. Sorry, this is a lot of like smaller things. The sequel to the Jury Duty show, Incredibles 2 should never be in there. The sequel to the Jury Duty show called Jury Duty Presents Company Retreat comes out March 20th. They have announced, they show a trailer and they said we're going to meet Anthony, who's the only one who's not an actor in it, but we don't see him. I'm a little like, I do agree that I think the first one was like lightning in a bottle and they got the perfect guy to act off these people. And I don't know if you could get it doing again, but I'm kind of curious. It's also like, it seems like they're doing a different thing, but like, how did they pay this guy to work at a company? Like, I don't know. It seems like more work for this one person who's been completely manipulated. Like, they might just like flip the fuck out. Like, that's like, if you're at a job, like, I don't know. There's the logistics of it I don't love, but I did like that first Jury Duty show, so I wouldn't, I don't know. I don't want to write it off, but I'm just like not 100% on that. Okay. So you're probably like surprised I care about this as much as I do. But I was generally kind of shocked. The Gundam live action Gundam movie, which I've been hearing about for a while from Legendary, and I thought Sony was involved, but it seems like more from Legendary and Bandai, um, that the Gundam movie is now going to Netflix. Now, this was already considered to be, because I think Sydney Sweeney, regardless of what you think of her, I've never heard of any star's career looked at under a microscope as much as she has been. I'm not saying warranted or not, or like saying she shouldn't have gotten shit for that jeans ad or whatever, but it's like, I have noticed like almost every movie, they're like, oh, this is her strategy. And I never hear that with anyone else. But the thing is, oh, sorry, I'll talk about Melania after this. I don't have it in the script, so I'm like, hold on. I will write it in here after Gundam movie. Melania talk. I did learn some stuff about it right before the show, so I'll talk about it after. I'm sorry. Anyway, so I was under the I'd read about the Gundam movie. It was going to be the Kong guy, the Kong Skull Island guy, and he's not doing it. It's the guy who did Sweet Tooth, right? Sweet Tooth director. But the thing is, like, I kept hearing like this is her big like franchise play, like big blockbuster franchise play, and they're really trying to get the right person to play opposite her, and like because she was the big star who helped develop this, and she was very involved in all this stuff. And then to like what was it yesterday? They announced it was going to Netflix, which I was surprised by because everyone was like, "This is going to make a lot of money. It's going to play very well internationally," which like fucking duh, and like all this stuff, and then it goes to Netflix, and I'm like, I mean, I'm a little surprised because she just had a hit that like is actually making neck and neck with Zootopia 2, at least recently. It's not as much, but like the last couple of weeks, it's almost making as much as Zootopia 2, which is not, number one, but doing well. Um, but it's just a very confusing thing that, because I was like, I don't understand. Are you saying like giant robots is not something people would be into? I'm just very lost on this whole like how this happened and why you would want to just go to Netflix. I think maybe they're like, you will get $20 million guaranteed, and then you can come back and get another $20 million. Or maybe they realized a Gundam movie. I don't know Gundam super well, but like it looks like it's expensive, and they're like, look, this is going to be $200 million. That's a lot. She's definitely a movie star, but not a $200 million movie star. I don't think that's a shitty thing to say. I mean it in the, even though the Housemaid or whatever did pretty well. So I do think, I don't know. I was surprised by that actually, because there was a lot of hype that this is a new thing they're developing, Legendary. But I don't know. I was a little shocked. I don't know if like now that Netflix is going to have a theatrical arm, maybe they'll change their mind. But I was shocked that like this was a project they were very much considering for the big screen for a long time. Now maybe they like, I do think there was nothing listed in here, but I do think like the budget thing was probably it, and they're probably talking to the director and go, you know what, let's just move it to that. But or maybe they couldn't find a good release date. I don't know, but I was actually like, there's very few times I see something I was like kind of surprised, and I do think with this, I was surprised. I was genuinely surprised. I was like, oh, you have like your star of this is like doing really well right now. People like explosions. That's always like I just like Gundam is a pretty big pop culture thing. I don't know. I'm a little shocked. So, maybe I hope it does really well on Netflix and all that. But I don't know. I'm generally surprised. So it's gonna be on Netflix. I'm just like, also with the kaiju stuff, you'd think it could have, I don't know. I think it could have worked out, but that's not where they went. I'd actually like to know why they chose that. So we'll see. But I was a little surprised, I'll be honest with you. Oh, you know what? I really I had a hard time starting up the show because the thumbnail thing in YouTube wasn't saving. So I realize some programs are open that I do not need to be open. All right. The Melania movie, since you guys really care about this. So, I was going to talk about this. The one thing that I do find odd about this movie is it cost $70 million. And I don't understand why a documentary would cost $70 million. It's mainly looked at as like a financial offering or donation to Trump. And I do think we get into this weird thing with movie news when you talk about Apple or Prime or what have you, and they spend a lot of money on a movie, and you can tell like it's not going to like destroy the company. Because I know so many people used to be like, oh, well, the Lord of the Rings show will be like the Cleopatra for Prime, and Prime will go bankrupt. And like they have so much money, they're not. But at the same time, like, what are you doing with this Melania movie? I also find that trailer weird because she ends it going like, where he's like, I'm the president again. She's like, oh, cool. I'll like check it out on the news. Could you just stop speaking to me now, please? Thank you. And then the trailer ends. You're like, what the fuck? Why is this the end of the? I do think like this. It does look really bad. It doesn't look very good. I don't understand why you'd want a documentary on her in theaters. Like, why not just put it on Prime and you could have him lie about the streaming numbers? Like, it's just very bizarre, the whole motivation behind it. Um, the one fact that I did learn, and Brett Ratner answered, and I can attest to this, is that there'd been this rumor that any liberal who worked on it, who was a crew, requested to not be credited. And what he explained on the red carpet, and he did answer it, and he said, he was like, no, he like took a minute to answer it in fairness to the wonderful guy who's Brett Ratner. He said that like because they had to film in multiple locations, they had a lot of day player kind of crew members who weren't credited, which is a standard documentary thing. I actually did sound on one day on an ODB documentary, which I don't know what happened to it. It was like by his brother and had 7 different names and kept getting delayed. And I'm not sure if they used anything I shot or I was there for the shoot. I didn't shoot it. I just did the sound. But it's like his brother, and they were weird, but what they were very weird people. But and I've never seen it, so I don't know. But I did like a day, and I think it was one guy, like 1 or 2 guys interviewed, and then they had a block party and stuff. But anyway, um, that is standard. That's not, and he did answer that correctly. I was like, oh yeah, I actually know that like if you come in and like hold a boom for a day and get your check, they're like, well, here's your money, But and he was like, if people didn't want to be credited, usually if they were going to be, that's usually something he admitted they would respect and be like, that's fine if you worked on it, you did your work. I have nothing against that. So I was like, oh, you handled that better than I thought you would. So that's the answer to that. It's basically like, one, day players typically don't get credited, and two, he was unaware of the political affiliations thing. They might have just been like, sometimes people don't want to be credited because you crew your work for the news organization and there's a contract and you can't be credited, and you just choose, you request not to be, and people will do that. There's that too. So I thought that was like a headline of someone who didn't really understand how things are made. And if there is proof of someone who did that, then I would say that, but there isn't. I do think this is going to bomb pretty hard. I do not understand why release it, but I do think this falls into the weird movie math of, I mean, like Amazon Prime's not going under because the Melania documentary flops. You know what I mean? And the $70 million, like, even if it did make that, doesn't matter. Like, it's such a weird, stupid thing. I do not think it was a good idea, but I did notice finally Tim Cook's getting a lot of backlash for showing up to the premiere. I noticed like people act like that Apple guy is like impenetrable and we're not going to get, it's okay that he's with Trump or something. And like, I notice he's finally getting blowback. Like, thank fucking God. And the Brett Ratner thing is bizarre. Like, why he has no experience as a documentary filmmaker. It doesn't look like he knew what he's doing. It looks like an ABC documentary, or CBS documentary. Even before, their documentaries were bland as fuck. um, I think this should have been a streaming TV thing. I don't understand. It could have still cost $75 million, but like, why this? And why release the number? Like, there's just so much stupidity. I do think like the conservatives really do believe in old media rules where they're like they had Whitney Cummings on the Daily Show and she's very right wing, even though she claims she's not, but whatever. I've heard her say things, and it's like they clearly are like, what if we get conservatives in all the legacy media? And I'm like, dude, it is 2026. Nobody fucking cares anymore. Like, that is like, you missed the boat on legacy media. like you're like 20 years too late, and I'm being generous there. I just find it to be so odd that they're like so insistent on like, well, if we control 60 minutes, I'm like, bitch, nobody fucking cares. Like, this is like everything's changing to a different thing. Like, they'll just watch something else. Like, I don't understand what they're. I find it so mystifying, but they seem to really care. Like, what if we have a conservative late night show host? None of these were gonna exist, whether you had a problem with them or not. I don't. Do you understand what you're? I just find it very bizarre. Like, because it's like they do try to treat it like old media rules. I'm like, those are not in play anymore. Like, why do you keep doing that? I find it so weird. Like, they're like, well, this way PBS won't say bad stuff about us. I'm like, oh, because so many people were watching that? Like, that was your move? Like, I just find that like weird. Like, it's just odd. Anyway, oh cool, it's freezing up. All right, let's move on. Um and super chats appreciated if you can do that and all that. All right, moving on. The Safdie brothers thing. I'm not sure if I talked about this before. I was aware of this. This is not new. It's just getting republicized because Josh Safdie is up for an Oscar. Marty Supreme does seem to be getting a lot of shit this week. I'm not sure which movie is behind that, but it does seem to be polarized to a certain degree. I also think it's because like Timmy's could get an Oscar sooner than Brando and all that stuff, and I think people are going, wait a second. But Anyway, so what happened between Benny and Josh Safdie? Effectively, what happened is on the set of Good Times, there was a 17-year-old girl who came to play a prostitute. Um, oh, Whitney Cummings had to say, oh, that's pathetic. Anyway, sorry. They filmed a scene for Good Time, with a 17-year-old girl who played a prostitute and then was forced to basically do a sex scene with this guy Buddy Duress. It's an interesting name there. Um, who had just been released from prison. The scene was removed before the film went to Cannes. But then uh, Josh was aware that the person had basically, like, this girl was basically assaulted on camera, and was 17 and a minor. They have long said that or but Benny Safdie wasn't aware fully of what was going on, supposedly, even though he was holding the boom while Josh was holding the camera and directing. Apparently, Josh and this other guy were aware, and the producer of it was aware. This came out because when he was getting divorced from Emily Ratajkowski from that one scene in Good Girl or Gone Girl and the Blurred Lines video, that came out. So this was kind of like a couple years ago. It's been out there that basically, like, this info slowly got to Benny Safdie. He was like, the reason they had a movie at Netflix with um, Adam Sandler that was going forward, and then the Josh and Benny sort of had it out about this as this was coming more to light. Supposedly, Benny Safdie was unaware of this. I'm a little confused how you don't know this, but whatever. Supposedly, when it came fully to light what had happened, they ended their partnership, like expunged the company and decided not to make an Adam Sandler movie for Netflix, and went their separate ways. And one made Smashing Machine, which is Benny Safdie, and Josh Safdie made Marty Supreme. And because of that, everyone's looking at Josh Safdie like you seem like a total piece of shit because you're aware of this 17-year-old or a minor, basically getting raped on camera by an ex-con. Uh, and was very much aware of that. I don't know, like, there's certain shady elements to this story, and I will say that's always been the problem with the story, because part of the story is that they're both in the room. Now, there's a lot going on in film production, I will give them that, but the fact that they decided, like, oh, well, we're not going to have that scene anymore right before they go to Cannes, that seems a little sus. But again, I wasn't there, but that was because of the Safdie brothers breakup was because of that. To me, that does not sound like they will get back together. It also feels like Josh is sort of taken on the mantle of what the Safdie brothers previously were with Marty Supreme and stuff like that. I've been aware of that for a couple of years. I wasn't sure, but there were rumors that maybe Emily Ratajkowski had made that more than it was, but it has in the previous years stuck, so it's believed to be true. I don't know if the victim spoke out or something like that. But anyway, oh man, fucking YouTube. My computer is not freaking out, so this is all YouTube right now. Anyway, okay, it looks like we're okay now. But they're not really working together. That is what it is. But that is kind of the full story there. Is a minor was involved in a scene in Good Time. It's unfortunate. But that is what happened. It has come to light. It'll probably come up more. I don't think Josh Safdie was really going to win anything. I think his time to win stuff was or his time is not. I think it's mostly going to be Sinners or One Battle for most of it, but we'll see. Sorry, man. YouTube is really. No, it's not in the thing. No, it seems like the producer was aware of it, and what's his name? The producer was aware of it, and Josh Safdie was aware of it, but Benny Safdie was not. So, but it's also like part of it that I don't love about this whole thing is it does seem to me that there are a lot of people aware of this situation who let other people continue their careers for a certain amount of years. That's part of it I don't like. Now, supposedly in all these stories, Josh Safdie wasn't fully aware of what it was, what he knew and what he didn't is a full thing, but whatever. Emily Ratajkowski was the producer's wife at the time, and when she divorced him, it came out in the divorce proceedings, which also had to deal with custody. I don't think he got a lot of custody based on that. All right, I think we can move on. Sorry if that was a bummer. I just wanted to go over that. Um, but anyway, so a new film from Justine Triet, who did Overslept. There you go. But Bulblart should be in Mario Galaxy. Fuck yeah! Cheers to you. Hanging out with Yoshi. I heard today that there's a TikTok person who's a teacher who looks just like Kevin James. Maybe that's the last thing I'll search on TikTok. So Bloxy, check that out. Let me know next week. I hope you're doing well. Sorry you overslept. Anyway, so Justine Triet, who directed Anatomy of Fall, is a new movie. It's her English language debut. It's called Fonda. It has nothing to do with the Fonda acting dynasty or a biopic of Bridget Fonda, but is going to star Mia Goth, Andrew Scott, and Allison Janney, as well as other people, but those are people whose name I know. It's a psychological thriller set in an idyllic Hewis, taking the limits of someone's sounds mind. It sounds like a psychological thriller thing. To me, that's like, don't just do a dry legal thing. Don't do that. I feel like everyone does that for their first English language thing, but hey, maybe it'll work out. Apparently she was very impressed with Mia Goth. But Mia Goth's cool, so I get that. So Mia Goth supposedly have to have a supporting role, but she was so Mia Goth-y that they pushed her up to the lead there. So sounds cool though. I like Mia. She was very good in Frankenstein. Let's do. You know what? No, fuck it. Butch Hartman Con. Everybody, get excited. Butch Hartman has a convention, not just any convention. A Butch Hartman It's all about Butch. Butch HartCon, which sounds a lot like. Yeah, you get things like at HartCon, you'll learn directly from top tier creators, producers, performers who are actively working in the entertainment industry. Get practical insight from producers, writers, animators, directors, and agents, and people who are not just people who know Butch Hartman. Network professional voice actors, industry decision makers. Oh, I didn't know I was going to be there. Receive guidance on both craft and career, including branding, pitching, and monetization, like how to make your own Butch Hartman Con, but make it with your own stupid name. Have your work seen by people who understand what it takes to succeed. Anyway, this costs like $1,000 to show up to, and it's just Butch Hartman and Tara Strong. So it sounds like, a lot of other conventions. I obviously I'm going to Hartman Con. It's me, Butch Hartman. We're gonna do a thing like the panel is called "Why the Devil Didn't Create Your Childhood." Butch Hartman did, and we basically go over how every cartoon creator is evil, but Butch Hartman. They're all evil and they're all disturbing, and they don't believe in God as much as he does. So, yeah, and Eric Booza. Eric Booza, why? Why, Eric Booza? Why are you there? Eric Booza, call me. You can just hang out at my house and say you were sick. And and you can do voices. I'm sure that's totally what you want to do on your weekend. Maybe he does. Maybe he's like, I'll just hang out on Ship's couch. I'd be cool with that. Yeah, Pan's going to be there. It's actually me and Pan are going to do a panel together called POS Podcast Reunited. POS Podcast episode before Force Awakens came out. Anyway, Butch Hartman Con is gonna be amazing. If you guys have $1,500 to spare, not including room or a lunch, then you'll have a great time. Otherwise, if you have more than that, you can have a dinner with Butch Hartman where he'll draw really quickly on a napkin, a picture of you, and then goes, "Here you go, jerk," and then walks away. This is the dumbest con I've ever heard. I also nobody's got money, Butch. Who the fuck are you talking? I was like, what are you talking about? The one Butch Hartman thing, I'll say this, that I've always found interesting is I listened to an interview with him for some Saber thing. Well, Ken actually is showing up to Butch Hartman Con. If you look at the list, it literally he's the only Pizza Party member confirmed. It's Ken talk shit on Pizza Party. It's a 3 hour panel. It's just Ken. And there will be a ball pit. They actually got the ball pit from the Tumblr Con to appear to talk about being an industry professional. Cheers to you, Nathaniel Fogo. Anyway, sorry. My Butch Hartman fact, I was working on some Saber video about Butch Hartman. One of them, I don't know. He's admitted in his video he's made a lot of them. But I listened to this interview and he talked about pitching all his various shows. And he basically admitted that, I don't know if you're aware of how pitching works. You pitch you don't pitch one show, you pitch a bunch of shows. And apparently each time, up until like Danny Phantom, none of the pitches he wanted got picked up. It was always like the third idea or something. And I always think about that, like, because he always sounds like not happy with his shows. And it's like, it does sound like he literally, he sort of doesn't like how his career worked out. I don't know. He did sound a little like bitter about it. That like, I think Danny Phantom was the only one who was like, I really want to make Danny Phantom, and it worked out. But like, I think it was like Fairly Odd Parents was one. There was like a lot of them, and he like legitimate didn't get the show he wanted. So I always thought that was funny. I don't know. I mean, I felt kind of bad for him. I was like, man, you're like a successful creator, and you're like, yeah, idea 4 that I kind of like came up with the night before became a thing, and I was always like, what? Like, he kept saying that, and it happened like I think it was like 3 or 4 times. I think Danny Phantom was the only one that he was like genuinely happy about. Just very funny. Very funny. Anyway, I think this sound. I mean, Butch Hartman does a lot of embarrassing stuff like Oaxis and now HartmanCon. I kind of am like, is this a bit, or are you that egotistical and stupid? Um, did Pam pitch Loki IRL? I think he just like showed it to industry people. I always thought it was going to be independent. To my understanding, I didn't. I wasn't. I've never been involved in Loki IRL, so I don't know. If he wants me to do a voice, absolutely. But I've never been. I'm not sure of the involvement in that. But that is like why a lot of shows, like when Knockforce was pitched, we had the production company, World Leaders Entertainment, pitch a bunch of other stuff, most of which was really terrible, which I remember believing, or Ian believing that that's sort of what killed the pitch, basically. But anyway, moving on. All right, Butch Hartman. All right, let's talk about a bunch of sequels that were announced. Supposedly today we learned there's going to be a Frankenstein extended cut. I'm not sure I want that. But good for him. It's called the All Stitches cut. I'm like, if Del Toro wants to do that, good for him. I don't know if I want that. We learned that the film called I Play Rocky, which is about the story of the making of the film Rocky, will come out on November 20th. So that's a pretty big date for that. So we'll see. As well as the final Stephen Colbert episode will be on May 21st. That is the date of the last show. I will at least watch the last show. I'm not a little like, I don't know. I have mixed feelings on the quality of that show, but whatever. And then the follow up to RRR Varanasi will be released in theaters on April 7th, 2027. I did not know that there was a follow up. Sounds cool. I don't know much Bollywood, and I have a coworker who's been giving me a list of stuff. The only thing about Bollywood is like that is like 3.5 hours long. Jesus fuck. Like, and it was like, how do y'all? It's a very different film culture. You're like, what? What? How long is this shit? What the fuck? I'm always like, sorry, I hit my little folding table here. I was always surprised by that with the Bollywood stuff, but I would like to see it. In 2 other sequels, we learned there's going to be a Dirty Dancing 2. Jennifer Grey is involved. They're just writing it. To me, the only way you do this is Jennifer Grey plays a parent, and then her kid does a similar thing with it. Like, it's like the only way that'll work. If they do it any other way, or she meets a guy and she's a parent, like, no, boo. Like, she plays. I don't want to see old people doing Dirty Dancing stuff. It's only for young people. Just have it set in the 80s instead of the 50s or whatever it was. I don't know. I mean, they didn't play like 50s. They played Patrick Swayze music. So just have it, I don't know, some girl in A$AP Rocky and play A$AP Rocky music. I don't know who you would do, but you know what I mean? There's like a way to do it the right way, but I'm sure they'll do it the lame fucking way. It was announced years ago, but this is like a different one, I guess. It was re-announced. It's whatever. Apparently, so a Darkman sequel. This one, I'm actually a little. I was requested about this on the Discord. See, well, I mean, I don't. Fucking old people are ever. I'm like, Jesus, dude, don't be sad, you know. So I learned Sam Raimi. They want to make another Darkman. And apparently it's from these guys who made Don't Move, which is a Netflix movie I never saw. The directors of that, who apparently first worked with Sam Raimi on 50 States of Fright, the Quibi show. I will say one of the videos of mine that always gets watched is that Sam Raimi 50 States of Fright thing. So I was like, oh man, I see that all the time when I look at like my videos and stuff. But yes, they really want to make a Darkman follow up. Supposedly they are having problems financing it. There were like direct to video sequels, but yeah, apparently they don't want to do an Evil Dead. They want to do Darkman. Good for them. I think that's cool. I think it makes sense. I'm surprised they haven't done one. Although I am like, if you don't get Liam Neeson, I think that would work. But it doesn't see. I don't know. It's not as big of a name, although I think people like Darkman. But we'll see. But apparently, the Ghost House Pictures, which is Sam Raimi's thing, they're trying to do that. But we'll see. But Sam Raimi did talk about it. He said they are trying to do it, but it isn't the most popular. Sorry, I have my phone like propped over here, so I can. Anyway, but we'll see. I'm down for more Darkman. I think it's a cool idea. If you're like, what more Sam Raimi do we want? And I think that is kind of a good idea. So we'll see. All right, moving on. Sorry, this is so many like little things. Some weeks it'd be like that. Yeah, the other A Fan of Nights, I believe, is a prequel where we learn that Patrick Swayze can travel through time and be older. But anyway. All right. Anyway, any super chat. I'm sorry, I gotta say it. Sorry. Netflix, we've learned their deal with AI. This is sort of, let's say this is the Slophouse. We talk about two AI things, get it done. So Netflix, we have learned, is going to use AI to make subtitles. I'm sure that'll be terrible. I do not streaming and subtitles is always sort of a weird thing because a lot of them movies used to have burn-in subtitles, which means it's actually in the image. And I noticed with streaming, they suddenly like Star Wars would always have that. They stopped doing it, so you have to go and then turn on fucking subtitles. I really hate that actually. Like, yeah, no, I speak Jabba the Hutt language. Sorry, I keep doing that. I speak Jabba the Hutt language. I really don't need the subtitles. But they're using AI subtitles. I think that is pretty pathetic, as well as they're making custom ads with Netflix properties with AI as well. I think is kind of absolutely pathetic. Like, just have good subtitles really matter. Particularly, you're always talking about getting into anime. Like, you want to have good subtitles. Like, I don't think AI can really do that. So I'm not exactly sure their full plan with that, but they are very much trying to do that. Which I just don't like. Like, come on, why are we fucking up subtitles? Like, maybe they don't want people watching foreign stuff, but like, you've had so much success, like, you think you wouldn't want to fuck that up. But I guess showing off to your tech friends means more than making a good product. The other thing is Darren Aronofsky made a Revolutionary War AI trailer. He's making a whole show of it. It looks pretty horrible. I don't understand what Aronofsky is doing with this and why he wants to do AI so much. I know people were like really shitting on him, like, the Satoshi Kon allegations with him, which I don't. Is that just like Black Swan and a few? I think he was more very influenced by it, but like, I always liked The Fountain. I know people. I don't know. I haven't watched in a while. Maybe it's not as good. I think people are too harsh on him, but him using AI and doing sphere stuff, I do think he kind of like. there's certain directors who clearly just run out of ideas. And I mean, Caught Stealing wasn't that amazing, and I guess he's been caught stealing using AI. So, but it it looked pretty terrible. And I also think the Revolutionary War stuff, like, please stop talking about it. Like, I really, and I also think a lot of people use the Revolutionary War for like American pride bullshit and not like if you had a legitimate, oh my god, kittens, legitimate thing to say, that would be cool. I would give my kittens some credit because they killed a mouse last night. So pretty young to do it, but they did it. They sort of tag teamed it, or they kept putting the mouse in their mouths and then growling at each other and then just beating them up until I put the mouse in a trash bag. It was like limping to life when I threw it down the chute. But hey, Pebbles and Nico have already earned their rent. All right. Sidram, you do not have to give a chapter to that or timestamp for that. Anyway, unless you guys really want it. I don't know. I don't think so. Let's talk about superhero rumor kind of stuff that is kind of interesting. Dave Filoni supposedly, we've heard he hated Andor. I think most people know that, although he denies it. The one thing he hasn't denied, I've heard he hated Star Wars Visions. That sucks because I like that show and I think there's some cool stuff coming from it, but he does not like Star Wars Visions at all. I'd expect that to end. I really think the Dave Filoni thing is going to end up being worse than people realize. He will. He already did it. Never mind. They get the Cats Kill Mouse update. I really do think like having, because he is really the first fan to run Lucasfilm. I think people are really going to regret that. But supposedly he hates Visions as well, which I was surprised by. I thought he would like Visions, but he doesn't. This is another rumor, is the Jacob Elordi Bond rumors. I do not think he would do it. I think it would be a bad idea for him. He just got an Oscar nomination. He's doing interesting stuff, unless he really like just wants to have a paycheck gig. But I don't think it's like a good move for him. So I as a lot of people have speculated, I do not think he will do Bond and end up being Bond. But there seems to be a lot of rumors about that. I would much rather had Riz Ahmed, who's been rumored. I sort of think it's going to be no one we've heard of. So, now this is news that I think you guys will give a shit about. The two different Batman movies. We talked previously about how Christina Hobson was writing Batman Brave and the Bold a little bit. But the other thing to add on this is why she got that movie. And there's been a lot of debate on, hey, she did The Flash or whatever. Apparently that is not how she got this movie. She did not get it because of The Flash and other stuff. The other thing is like more educated people were like talking about how, or film pundits were talking about how she's done a lot of spec work. She's done a lot of punch ups, like studios like her. But this is, I think you guys will care about this. The reason she got Batman Brave and the Bold is because she worked on a Batman Beyond script that the studio really liked and everyone who read really liked. It didn't happen, but they were like, oh, cool, she needs to do another Batman thing. And so when there was an opening, they put her on this one. I have no clue which version of the Batman Beyond movie that is, but that has been reported that the reason she got Batman Brave and the Bold is because of a Batman Beyond script that didn't happen. So I thought that was kind of interesting, actually. So I'm a little more like, okay, all right. I'm kind of hyped for her now. I'm kind of curious. I need to watch more Batman Beyond also. And the other last thing is, and this is a rumor, but it does bring up an interesting thought, and I want you guys to list your ideas for this role. Supposedly Two-Face's dad, they're looking at a around 60-year-old actor. They went to Brad Pitt. He said no. But a lot of people have been suggesting people. And the one suggestion, and I thought this was an interesting suggestion, because you're thinking of people around, 90s, late 80s, 90s, who are still very, if they showed up, you'd be like, oh, so like Brad Pitt makes sense in that. People have rumored about Tom Cruise because he really doesn't have, he really doesn't have, he likes doing movies and maybe he'd do a small role in this. But a couple people brought up that someone who has said they want to do bigger movies and almost had a comeback this year, but didn't get Oscar nominated, to the point where like no one thought about him Oscar time, was Daniel Day-Lewis, who has wanted to do just a small role in a big thing. and a lot of people have speculated that there's a major possibility Daniel Day-Lewis would consider this. Supposedly, this is very much everyone just throwing a name out there, but it was one of those things where I was like, that does sound really good. Like, if you're going to get anyone, because it does seem like they want to have like a stunt casting sort of thing. If you had anyone in a Batman movie that people go, oh, what the fuck? It would be him, you know? And because, like, you know, his return that his son didn't really do anything, and it does sound like he wants to come back, this would probably be a really good vehicle for that. So I do understand the thinking, but it's not like a stupid thing to think. It's like, I find it to be actually, I was like, it makes a lot of sense. And like, you're playing Sebastian Stan's dad, and I do think that would work versus Sebastian Stan, who's playing Harvey Dent. So I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up. I don't think, most likely he won't do it. I don't know who else you would get. Like, I don't think you get like a Johnny Depp who's around that time frame. I don't think you get a Keanu. It's like, who would you get who's like still relevant now, who would make you go, oh, like, it's a limited group of people, but I do think like Daniel Day would go. Wouldn't that make you go, oh fuck, Daniel Day in the Batman? What's going on? All right, let's do. We are kind of. I shouldn't say we're running long. We're not. All right. All right. Any super chats before sorry, just gotta say it. Sorry, I'm saying it so much. Well, we haven't done the Godzilla thing yet. So, all right. This is trailers and stuff. What is this? Daniel Day-Lewis with Paul. Oh, Ethan Hawke. I don't know. That's a good idea, actually. He is the right age range, though. He's a little like. I could see that. Jordan Slophouse, that's a good one, actually. He just got one. Get Tommy Lee Jones. Oh, I kind of like that, actually. And he would play that well. I'm into that. All right, let's talk about trailers. I got a lot of. Oh, Billy D. Damn it. Eggplant Man is killing it with these. I like both of those. I mean, you could get Harrison Ford even at that rate. I think he would do it. I can't think of who else. I mean, I don't know. It would have to be someone good, but I do like the Daniel Day-Lewis thing. I do think that's like a good one. Man, that Tarantino Paul Dano Lillard thing just really, he did not come off well on that. Anyway, here is trailers and stuff. I'm sorry, Syndrome. Here is stuff. All right, first one, we have a trailer called A Matter of Time. It is a trailer about a guy who's trying to finish a video game, and his friend, played by Sean Astin, has a time traveling ring. Yes, they make a Lord of the Rings joke. And he uses it to stop time to finish his game. It looks kind of fun. What's up, Soph? Oh, you want to say goodnight?
Going to bed.
Oh, okay. Good night, Soph. You're up kind of late. It's okay. You're not going to school. Get sleep, okay?
Okay.
Love
you.
Love you too. What was I gonna say? Yeah, it looked like a fun movie, but it looked like in the way Y2K was a fun movie in which you would just go breaking Tito's soils. What? Um, uh, it looked like a fun, like, I'll watch, half drunk on a streaming service. I don't think I'll ever see it online in theaters. Next up, I Love Boosters, which is the Boots Riley film. That looks really cool, very colorful, really nice, actually. I with Kiki Palmer, and they like play these people who like go in and steal fashion and resell it. Basically, looks like a lot of fun. That's like a movie I want to see on the big screen. He put out I retweeted, reskeeted it, whatever. Boots Riley put out a thing where he mentioned how the reason movies look dark is because they're all made for real 3D, which makes them darker in a sense. So as he was learning from his color guy, which yeah, I don't actually feel that way about modern theaters, but I understand a lot of theaters are not as well kept up as a lot of the New York ones. But I Love Boosters was definitely like probably the big surprise of this week. I thought it was a really good trailer. Like, I want to see that trailer in theaters. Like, that looks cool. This is not the trailer you might have heard about. There is a new Attack of the Killer Tomatoes movie. It's called Attack of the Killer Tomatoes Organic Intelligence. back on their B movie shit. They have like definitely puppets and all that stuff. Looks like a lot of fun. I would check this out if it was on Tubi. I hope it gets there. And then there was another Muppet Show trailer that comes out next Wednesday. I would like to do a proper video on that, not just a segment, but we'll see if I have the time. But it continues to look like a must see kind of thing, the new Muppet Show thing. And I really did like that trailer also. Okay, 3 stories, then box office. Then we'll do the 2 things there. Okay. So the Looney Tunes are going to go to Turner Classic Movies. Sorry. The Looney Tunes are going to Turner Classic Movies. They used to play more cartoons, but they don't as much. Although I don't have Turner Classic Movies anymore, so I'm not sure. But they want the Looney Tunes to become their ongoing home. They want Turner Classic Movies to be the ongoing home for them. They also, they have 750 of them. They are going to play them more throughout. I know Bugs Bunny is the star of the month for February for Turner Classic Movies, and they will be programming a ton of Bugs Bunny stuff throughout that. This will not affect MeTV Tunes. That seems to be a constant fear of people, and they're playing with Looney Tunes. I do expect them to curate more with the Looney Tunes than MeTV Tunes curation is a little has been brought into question, but they also do play 2 hours of Looney Tunes a night, so you're going to just play whatever, and they definitely do that. Let's say, but I do think this will be more curated cable plays. I don't think it'll mess up MeTV Tunes, but supposedly every time anyone has searched, there isn't a direct quote, but it doesn't seems like those are different agreements as that is cable and stuff like that. I guess I'll mention, because I'm going to talk about A for Angel later, that the Cartoon Network Studios Cartoons program, which we heard about years and years ago, is finally coming out. They will be coming out each Monday. I'm going to try to do shorts, like YouTube shorts, not movie crap shorts, as I need to come up with a new name for them, maybe movie crap segments. But I'm going to try to do those for these because I know people are always interested in those. But they apparently there's going to be 6 of them. They found a playlist where it's like 1 and then 5 privated. So it is going to be interesting. I don't know if any of these will become anything or just like give certain creators a little more of a following and stuff like that. But we'll see. But I'm glad they're actually putting them out finally, because it was always brought up like, hey, what happened to that? Like giving more chance to creators. And Cartoon Network needs more stuff, so maybe they're just like, maybe we need to air other things there. All right. One last thing before box office. Bloomberg in their newsletter reported about the Ellison thing with Warner Brothers and Paramount. This should be kind of obvious to most people that David Ellison was aware that Paramount is sort of a struggle here. And was aware that it's going to like take him a minute to get there. And so he wanted to buy another studio to sort of help his investment work out by sort of ignoring Paramount, which sounds like kind of the dumbest idea ever, but that was his plan to make to do that. I don't think they're very good at running. The Ellisons are not good at running a media company, as TikTok is following the fuck off immediately. And Paramount, like, they didn't even release, when they released the SpongeBob movie, they did a poor job of it. I don't exactly understand what their theory is, other than like, I'll make it more conservative and have UFC and stuff. They don't seem to know how to date things. They don't seem to improve things. They don't need to seem to know how to like slowly build things. So it's sort of a mess. But yeah, he really just wanted it because he's struggling with Paramount. It doesn't sound like they're getting Warner Brothers. Like, it's just like really fucking pathetic. Like, just like learn how to date things and build up your media company, and then like next time there's a big studio, you can buy that. But like, it just doesn't sound like it's the right time, because they're like scared they're not Paramount's going to take a minute. But like, then why'd you buy Paramount? Like, I don't understand that, but whatever. All right, let's talk about box office and Mercy. Because I'm going to drink some water. Sorry. Um, um, Mercy, which is the really boring. Well, I haven't seen it, but like the Chris Pratt sits in a chair movie was number one this past week, beating Avatar pretty significantly, actually. But Avatar did lose 150 theaters and has been out for 6 weeks and was number one for 5 weeks, which is pretty impressive. I remember actually when Titanic was number one for like a really, really long time. That when Lost in Space took it down, it was like a big deal. I've never seen the Lost in Space movie, but like the only thing I remember about it was because it took out Titanic. And I even remember when the first Avatar left number one, it was a big deal. I do remember two and three. It's like, and Mercy did it on a weekend. It snowed a lot. Like, come on. And it did feel like Avatar was falling off anyway. That Mercy movie looks really fucking bad. I do think like Chris Pratt is not really a movie star. He's a movie star in certain properties, and I think like this like broke that. I don't know why he chose to star in this. It looks like tremendously shitty, but a lot of people have said that like this Amazon NGM like either makes like pro AI stuff and then a Melania documentary. They're very much into the propaganda, which it seems to be. So we did learn Avatar is doing really well overseas. We're at $1.38 billion, which is still very, very good, even though it's like, I think I tweeted or skated recently, like the weirdest big movie, like the weirdest reputation of any movie, because like 2 Oscar nominations. Number one, it's like number one for 5 weeks, made over $1 billion, and everyone is like, well, they're not going to make 4 and 5. And it's like so weird. Like, I don't, anyway, it's just very strange because it's like there definitely seems to be a lot of interest in it, and I do think it's like waning. But like, how is like making almost $1.4 billion at the box office waning? It's just so weird. Like, I didn't like it, but like financially, I'm surprised. I mean, I do think like, and Zootopia is beating it and all that. Zootopia, Zootopia 2 is at 401 million in the US, and like what are we? 1.7 billion, which is crazy. Marty Supreme actually fell the least of any movie despite all that controversy, only going down 36%. And then Zootopia, or sorry, 28 years later, The Bone Temple fell 72%, really falling off, which is unfortunate. I'll my review that soon, but it just does seem like kind of a sad way to go with that. And then the Lord of the Rings re-releases both Fellowship and Return of the King. Sorry. In the top 10. And Hamnet came back to the top 10 because of the Oscar nominations. It does feel like Hamnet and Marty Supreme, box office wise at least, are making the most out of their nominations. They're apparently overall this January is doing okay with last January, and I want to say the highest grossing movie of 2026, Primate, with $23 million. I hope it stays that way. I love in January where you're like, what's the highest grossing movie of the year? And it's, some dumb January shit. But right now, Primate, I hope Send Help beats it, but maybe not. Let's see how long we can push Primate. Primate, number one of all time, baby. It's number one of the year. Let's keep it going. And also, I wanted to bring up this. The SpongeBob movie Search for SquarePants has surpassed 150 million worldwide. It is now it's really doing 16th in America. It is now apparently the second highest grossing SpongeBob movie and outgrossed the first one, which is surprising, at least internationally. It only made about 69 million nice in America. So, yeah. But if you heard about the SpongeBob movie, that's it. I was going to talk about Melania now, originally, but I already talked about it. I don't think it's going to do well. So, Prime Out, you know what? I'm going to say it right now. Let's put, this podcast let's do box office predictions. I say Primate number one all year. Doomsday's not going to be Primate. Other Spider-Man, Odyssey, none of it. We're not beating the number one movie of the fucking year, which is everybody's favorite Primate. Um all right, someone's in the bathroom, so maybe I'll just do A for Angel now. I realize I didn't write down. Okay, maybe I'll just do that now, and then we'll take a break, and then talk about Chilly Willy. I hope people check out Chilly Willy fan. They have a new game. Um, I mean, the tracking on Grogu is not great, so the Primate may actually outgross Grogu. I don't know. Listen, someone's in the bathroom. I feel like we should just keep going. Oh right, stop motion. Not enough talk about that. I thought that was a cool movie. I don't know. I don't think it would make my. I would like to make a best of the year. I just have to do it. Wait, was that this year? That wasn't this year. Damn it! That was like 2024, right? Anyway. Anyway. Um. Oh, Coyote vs. Acme. You're right. I forgot about Coyote vs. Acme. That is coming out this year. All right. How about this? I'll talk for where did I put it? A for Angel. And then we'll do the Chilly Willy cartoon. It was ages ago? Okay, I forgot. I mean, I wasn't thinking about it, so. Alright, I'm gonna drink some of this. I know it's for super chats, but I need the energy. I apologize to bring it up too much. Just, Anyway, I'm gonna drink some of this and we're gonna talk about A for Angel. And then hopefully bathroom will be open. Then we talk about Chilly Willy. Although I do say, go to the Chilly Willy fan thing. Play the hockey game. The guy worked hard on it. There's updates on the Chilly Willy fan site. Anyway. All right. As you know, this is going to be a short. This is going to be short. Or it'll be vertical. I'll just call it a vertical. I don't know. Whatever. So a new cartoon short came out. Yes, the cartoon program is back, or it was back a while ago, but they finally released the shorts they made a while ago. And the first one released is A for Angel. This was created by Chime Mara, which I don't think that's their real name, but I don't know. It is about a school where you have devils and angels. You have a devil and angel on your shoulder. They train in separate locations normally, but this one devil went into the angel side and met them, and met an angel who's sort of evil. And so they both are a little off, go to the real world and help this little girl come up with a name for her group of some kind. It's kind of an interesting concept in a sense. It sort of reminds me of Hell of a Boss, but for kids. In a sense, demons going into the real world and stuff. I thought it was fun, but I agree with what everyone said. I think Roundtable said it, that the design does look like a bunch of other stuff. It doesn't look too innovative or anything like that. And it really doesn't pop other than an interesting concept, which I do think, a different thing sort of came up with already. Maybe this was developed so long ago that was before they'd seen that. I'm not suggesting they ripped it off. It just reminds me of another thing. I do think it is a cool idea having the devil on your shoulder be the good one and the angel on your shoulder be the bad one, and they're going to the school and working together. That's a cool idea, but I don't know if I was fully into it. I wasn't as fully into the animation, and the storytelling was sort of okay, that's a neat little thing. I'm kind of curious. I feel like this creator could, Chimera, do more going forwards had they let their more originality flow and not sort of trying to. It almost felt like they're trying to make a Cartoon Network show. And I think the best Cartoon Network show is when the creator makes their own show that is on Cartoon Network. However, I did feel like it was a fun short. And it was kind of a neat enough concept. I just wish they had kind of had a little more fun with it and been a little more original. But it was cool seeing a little spin on the devil and angel on your shoulder bit. Okay, I hope that's good. Everyone like that? Oh yeah, yeah, I'd agree with that. All right. Oh, wife's really doing her hair there. Really bad timing. Mm. All right. Should I do? I usually take a break to really think on the short, so I'm like not sure if I want to do hot and cold thing. I only do Chilly Willies in January because it's very cold, and when it's cold, I think of Chilly Willy. So it's sort of a and I'm like, if you're gonna have your own YouTube channel, you should have fun. And I like Chilly Willy, and I will say the Chilly Willy fan site that I was talking about, they're the only one that has them by themselves. Like, if you want to just find a random short, um, you can't really do it on YouTube very well unless I sent like a compilation thing. It's always like sort of hard to figure out and stuff like that. So if you ever just go there, I think it yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna release that A for Angel thing. I'm like, I don't know. It was kind of like I should make this a segment, but I wasn't as in. I was more like wanting to do Chilly Willy, the greatest cartoon character. But my kids were like, "Why are you so into this guy? I don't get it." I'm like, how do you not get it? He's Chilly Willy. What is the confusion? I don't understand. I don't get it. All right. Uh. Okay. Well, is anything else? Anyone? You know what? Yeah. Anyone see any goal? Oh, it's their animation industry. That's cool. You can have a funny name. You know, I get it. I mean, Rebecca Sugar is her name, though. So, Genny Tarkovsky, I'm pretty sure is his name. I know for Rebecca and Ian, those are their actual names. But everyone else, I don't know. Someone asked me that once, and I was like, no, that's her name. And they're like, you're hiding it. And I was like, I'm not, but you keep thinking that. It's like, um, Sodberg, what the fuck? How do you not get? I don't understand how you not get that. He's chilly. He's the greatest penguin cartoon of all time. He's definitely better than Pebble and the Pebble and the Penguin, right? Although it does have what's it? Tiger seals, lion seal. It has tiger seal, and those are fucking scary. All right. Um. Oh, whoa, William Melman. There we go. We want Chili Willy. We want Chili Will. Thank you, William Melman. We can bring back Godzilla. All right, there we go. Thank you for the super chat, Joe. William Melman coming out of anywhere, coming out of nowhere. There. Cheers to you. Um. Um. People be normal about people. I mean, I understand why they think her name is not. Um. Is that does sound like I was like, wait, is that real? So I will say the first time I heard it, I went, wait, what? Wait, are we for real? Are we for real about this? I did say that. So, oh, Modelo Butterfly with the $1 super chat. Thank you. Hey, two Modelo Butterflies. This is getting crazy in here. This is getting crazy. Look at this. Um, cheers to you, Modelo Butterfly. All right, I guess we'll do. Just give me a minute to look over it. I don't want to. Let me see. All right, I think I'm ready to do Chili Willy. Sorry, I just wanted to look at it. We'll do Chili Willy. Yeah, that Rebecca, that story about Rebecca's name was really, really inspiring, you guys. Anyway, sorry. I'm sure that's like, what I heard. It's, okay. Anyway, all right. Moving on. Apologies. No, it's not. But it's you don't hear it all the time. Anyway, whatever. I think it went really, and she said, "Yeah," and I went, "Okay." Like that was the whole conversation, probably. Knowing me. All right. So, as you know, it is cold outside, and every year it is January. We got to talk about the greatest penguin cartoon of all time. I'm fairly certain, Chilly Willy. And as I talked about Chilly Willy with Tex Avery last year, I want to talk about another auteur of Mr. Chilly Willy, which is okay, Alex Lavoie or Alex Lovoy. why. Alex Lovey, I guess. Anyway, apparently who was kind of the guy who took over after Tex Avery. Um, and apparently, according to Walter Lantz, this guy Alex Willie, this came out by the way on October 24th, 1955, the same year as the previous one we are talking about. Or no, the same one is Rockaway, the only Chilly Willy nominated for an Oscar, by the way. Oh, I'm not Cornbread. I'm curious about that. Walter Lantz is the guy who produced Woody Woodpecker and ran the studio that Chilly Willy and Woody Woodpecker were part of. He claims that Alex Lavoie, I'm saying Lavoie, let's just stick with that, was ambidextrous and could draw two storyboards at the same time, which is either amazing and or those are two really terrible storyboards. But that sounds really cool if you can draw two things at once with two of your hands. I don't know the quality, but it doesn't sound great. Anyway, Walter Lantz, however, was known for his tall tales, so I sort of don't think that's true, but whatever. I'll just say might as well. Anyway, Chilly Willy in this one, I thought this was a really weird cartoon. It's called Hot and Cold Penguin. I should have started off with that. This we were talking about Chilly. Boy. Okay. This year we're talking about a Chilly Willy cartoon called Hot and Cold Penguin. Okay, anyway. So we're talking about Cold Penguin. That'll be, when it's edited, you'll be like, wow, editing. In this one, there's kind of two Chilly Willy kinds of cartoons. There's one where he tries to keep warm, and there's one where he tries to get food. This is one of the he's going to stay warm ones. What I like about this one is it's very random, this cartoon. It's like all the ins and outs of this, like it feels pretty normal, and then it'll like take a big shift to the left. Chilly Willy is basically like trying to stay warm with his own fire. The fire completely freezes, and then he's like, oh, let me see if there's a place I can keep warm. He sees signs, and instead of letting us read these signs, suddenly, out of nowhere, Woody Woodpecker's voice comes in and reads the signs to us. Now, does he appear in this short? No, not at all. Why? This is serious. Why is he in why is Woody Woodpecker's voice just reading off signs and refers to himself like he's Woody Woodpecker? I have no clue. That is like, it sounds very much like a post-production decision because Chilly Willy doesn't talk. The dog, who I think is Smelty Dog, doesn't talk either. So I think they were probably like, we need to get like somebody talking in this. So they randomly had put Woody Woodpecker just read off signs, which I always found was weird for this like a little American outpost. Just one of like, that really actually stuck out to me about this cartoon because like who does that? Like who has yeah, I don't know this second screen YouTube thing. Sorry. It's just such a weird choice. But then Chilly really just wants to stay warm by the furnace. He keeps fighting with this dog, going back and forth. The dog like does this cute little like shave and a haircut dance, and then like lands like, so he's lands on his side, which I kind of like that. And then they keep cutting holes in the floor, like that's a big thing in this. And then the dog tries to drown Chilly at certain points. But then like they keep doing this back and forth, which is very thing in Chilly Willy cartoons do. And then the dog tries to just drown Chilly at some point, but he's a penguin, so like you can't like drown him in the Arctic. Like even though he's trying to keep warm, he just keeps coming back. He puts him on ice and then like deflates it. Whatever. But then how this cartoon gets weirder again is he's sick of dealing with Chilly Willy, so he ties him to a rocket. It says like Mars or bust or going to Mars or something like that. And then he comes back and Chilly Willy's just chilling with Martians by the furnace. Like he shoots the rocket up and then he comes back and the Martians are just there, which proves to me these Martians can control time and space and are able to come back. But what I do really like about Hot and Cold Penguin and what this director did here, there's a lot of times where like Walter Lantz was really cheap. And like very formatted and like not like he's not a really innovative producer whatsoever. But I like in this cartoon, this guy's just like, well, what if I have Martians? And what if Woody Woodpecker's voice is just here? And what if, he's just drowned? And like, I like the extremes that this cartoon sort of goes into. This might be I think it's a better Chilly Willy cartoon in general, but this might be sort of like you have to have seen a bunch of older cartoons to appreciate what this is doing. It reminded me of like cartoons from the silent era, like Felix the Cat would just do a random thing. It doesn't go as extreme as that. It sort of works with its extremes within the kind of like basically very minimal production of Walter Lantz. But I actually thought it worked it very well. I thought it was fairly well directed for what it's trying to do. And I liked like the idea of like him and this dog going back and forth and having this like duh, 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 thing and then come out there. Uh, but and I like the Martian thing. It was just like very funny because you really get into. I think it's one thing animation actually does really well that live action does not do as much. Like I was actually talking to my kid about Phineas and Ferb, and I do think like in certain cases you can um, do repetition over and over again in animation, and then suddenly I'm just going to change something, and like it calls to mind the your participation as an audience member into kind of lulled into that participation and then using that to surprise you is something that like sitcoms live action doesn't really try to do as much. But I notice animation like loves to like, and guess what, we were building so like this laugh can work even more, and I love that kind of like experimenting with the patience of the audience and stuff like that. And I think the Mars things does that. I'm probably giving too much credit to Chilly Willy, but I also like that Chilly Willy doesn't talk. That is still my favorite thing uh of all time. That this guy doesn't talk is wonderful. I think it's a cute little short. It's probably one of the better, just simple, like Chilly Willy tries to stay warm cartoons. I like its little, like, I like the Martians. I like the little dance, and I like the random Woody Woodpecker thing. I think this all works and reminds me kind of why I like this character, and I kind of like the weirdness that you can find with a Chilly Willy cartoon. I think this like speaks to that and speaks to what I like about them. I really do, it's just one of my more favorite Chilly Willy cartoons, Hot and Cold Penguin. Also, if you go to chillywillyfan.com, it's still there. The guy sent me a picture of the car. I'm going to ask him if he's cool with me showing it in this video later. If not, maybe on the Discord or something. I forgot to email him. He sent it to me a while ago. It's a cute little car with like 2 Chilly Willy stickers, as well as he created a Chilly Willy hockey video game on the site. I recommend checking it out. I think it is cool that this like one dude is really into maintaining this Chilly Willy website. Go there and sign the guest book. It's a cool community, and I also want to shout it out because it's the only place you can just individually watch Chilly Willy cartoons. It's really hard to watch little ones and search for them. In a lot of older cartoons, like sometimes it's impossible to find individual shorts. So I really do support that site. I actually watch it through that site, but I didn't want to. I wasn't sure if that was a hard link for people to figure out and stuff. So I'd use YouTube, but I am actually going to go through it later. It's a cool little collection of Chilly, and he has like everything on there. He's done a really great job. I need to get a Chilly Willy shirt, like Smiling Friends, not as cool as Chilly Willy. But anyway, I enjoyed the short. I like the Chilly Willy fandom. Check out the site and check out Hot and Cold Penguin. Is Chilly Willy the Mr. Bean of animation? Sinram. Absolutely. Choose you. All right. I hope you guys like me doing Chilly Willy every year. All right. I need to use the bathroom. I'll just be real. I need to use the bathroom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick break and do that. And then we will come back and do questions, and that'll be it. Sorry, the flow was a little weird tonight. And I still have this picture up. But anyway, thank you all very much. I'll be right back, and then we'll do questions, and that'll be it. For what the fuck? That'll be it for the show. Are we still going here? Okay, fucking YouTube. Anyway, I'll be right back, and then we'll finish this shit up. All right, be right back after this. Oh, thanks, Dan. Thanks for being here, man. All right. One day Chilly will return at Avengers Tuesday. I don't know what. I don't know. I just have kind of glommed onto him. I also am like, I don't know. I sort of like the fandom, you know? Whoa. I was thinking, I don't know. I hope that was good. I hope those reviews were good. If you guys didn't like them, I think they were okay. I don't know. Well, Buster's here. Buster did help with the um uh mouse catching, by the way. He was an advisor. Alright. Are you fucking kid? Come on, guys. Why do you always mess with them? Alright. Sorry. Oh, they were always messing with this thing that falls over. I don't like it. Anyway, alright. Let's I'm gonna write questions below. This is a weird show, I think. I don't know. Was it a weird show? How do you guys think about it? I guess we're. By the way, we are. I guess we're like around close to 40. So if you want to hear Godzilla roar, I'll just let this go till the end. But if you want to hear Godzilla roar, um, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean he's an older. He's definitely older. Anyway, he's an old dude. All right. Austin asks first. Wait, do I have my Patreon thing? Great, that went away. Fucking shit. All right, hold on. I had it all set up, and then Chrome was being very odd, and so I closed it, and so I think it shows to not have my anything there. Okay, sorry about that. Jesus. I'm not sure if it was Chrome, but I have noticed I got rid of the Gemini thing, and this has run a little smoother. I have nothing to back that up, I should say. Okay, I'll do Austin first. Why not? It was going to be last, but I don't care now. Hey, Jim. Hope you're well. I might be there. My question for this week is how does one make the best ice cream sundae? Like, what ice cream do you use and what do you put on it? I would use a Ben and Jerry's because that adds to the variety of it. I would definitely put Reese's Pieces, chocolate syrup, some marshmallows. I don't think you go too crazy because you do too crazy, it's like too much. Maybe whipped cream. I haven't had one in a while, but I would say that's how I would do it. Next question is, hey, I have another question. I hope it's cool to ask. Is Stellan Skarsgård wins the Oscar? Do you think it will fast track Mamma Mia 3? Here we go again. I don't know if it'll fast track it, but in all honesty, he will make more money. He like it like seriously, he will get a better quote. So if anyone, if anyone will profit from it, it'll just be it'll be Mr. Stellan Skarsgård. He will make more money. So I hope it works out for him. Oh, we get a super chat from William Ullman said Jim's fun show. From what I saw after work, Chilly Willy is incredible. He would win the hearts of millions. Plus, he would kick Pingu's butt if Pingu ever tried to step to him. You know what? I kiss too much Pingu. But unlike Chilly Willy, Pingu shuts up. But cheers to you, William Ullman. Thank you very much. And I'll do the thing. Can we? Oh, that's not very good. Okay. There we go. All right. The other. Let me make sure I'm. Jeez. YouTube is not working out for me. Oh, not that it works out for me very much anyway. All right. Cineram. No. Well, I said Cineram. We'll do it. Cineram said, I read during a Quentin Tarantino interview that he thinks Death's Proof as a left-handed movie. That struck me as a Princess Bride reference in that the characters of Wesley and Indigo Montoya. I just watched that, so this is fresh in my mind. Montoya duel with their left hands to make it more challenging. In other words, Tarantino decided to deliberately hamstring himself in some way, or at least to make a movie that was up to his usual standards, kind of like how the cast of Boogie Nights were challenged to give stilted performances during the porno sequences. Am I off beats here? Or what do you think Quentin meant by left-handed movie? I sort of agree with that methodology. He has gotten Did it like freeze? What is going on? Um, I am like okay on my end. This is all YouTube. Um, I do agree that Jesus, what the fuck? Um, I do agree. Yeah, I sort of think that. I don't know why he's so hard on uh Death Proof because I like that movie, but yeah, he is kind of hard on that one. It does seem like he has issues with. I think because it didn't do well, and I think he likes to be, successful. I understand that, but like he doesn't really think of what that means. I think he sort of means because it was like someone directing, like it's ironic direction in a sense. So I think that's probably his issue with it. Ultimately, is like he's not directing a Tarantino movie; he's directing a Tarantino grindhouse movie. So I think that's the problem, maybe. But anyway, all right, let's do Nathaniel Fogel. What's a Mario character you'd like to see appear in the movies? Dry Bowser, 100%, and Wario. But I'm assuming they don't want to do that just yet. All right, let's. Jesus, why does it do this all the time? It's really embarrassing. Oh well, sorry. All right, let's get to the non. I would say Dry Bowser is my favorite, so I'd say Dry Bowser. I would like Dry Bowser. He's my favorite Mario Kart. All right. Question: did a bit of fact checking the upcoming He-Man movie was picked up at Netflix initially before being dropped, then landed with MGM? Can we try and make them repeat that all over with Gundam? The He-Man movie had, yeah. I'm sorry that it's being weird. Uh, what happened with the He-Man movie? It actually, like, that original one lost a ton of money in development and was pushed over to Netflix and then canceled and stuff. And then it became like a different thing. It's a really weird story, basically. But yeah, it would be cool if Gundam got that kind of treatment ultimately. Um. Oh, okay. Cornbread was like, it was a weird show, but not weirder than our usual. That's true. That's true. Nathaniel Foga. Anyone else going to HeartCon? I should know that. Good one. If Chilly Willy was sometime someone's band's name, what kind of music would they play? I think like early 80s ska where it's more reggae influence. I like reggae influence ska. I don't understand this horn. Why everyone was like, let's make it sound less reggae influence. I never understood that. I just didn't. I really didn't get it. Would you live in a house shaped like one of your characters, just like Scott Adams in his Dilbert shaped mansion? I mean, I guess I still live in magical Brooklyn, so in a sense, I do. How's Brett Ratner's big comeback going so far? I mean, he made a lot of money, and he's going to get Rush Hour 4, so I think it worked out for him. Yeah, I'm sorry about. I'm a little lost on. Maybe if I don't want to like drop the Wi-Fi. Well, let me try something. Maybe that'll fix it. I don't know. Jesus. Okay, I'm gonna really have to investigate this more than I ever get the time to, unfortunately. Um, disappointing. Okay. Al Vasquez says, ironic that Trump's favorite movie was Citizen Kane, the film where the title character forced his wife to go through an expensive artistic endeavor no one was passionate about other than him. Good call. I didn't think of that. Good call. Zane Powers, a lot of companies will steer clear of using AI on a mass scale as to not upset their fan base, but aren't they afraid of upsetting their AI diehards by not using AI? Who are these AI? I don't know anyone who's like, man, I can't wait to get home and watch. Though I do, I have heard a lot of people listen to like the stories on that, um, like those like weird AI stories. They're just audio thing. I hear people listen to those all the time. but it's people who like could give a fuck less about what they're watching or listening. It seems like because they're not even. I don't know. I don't get it. So whatever. Do you support your government's decision when they deported Charlie Chaplin, viewing it like he had it coming? No, I think that was a really stupid decision. Ultimately, that I don't know. The U.S. government makes so many horrible decisions. I don't know how anyone has pride in it ever. It's like I remember people were like, "Well, after this, it'll be good." I'm like, "After this, okay." Medela Butterfly. Who is your favorite ice theme or powered hero? I guess Iceman. You can ask your question. It's cool. Or if you leave it in the comments of the videos, you can do that, or in the Discord. Which version of Dark City is better, the original or director's cut? I have honestly not seen the director's cut, and I would like to review it at some point. Maybe have like I'll call Gary or something. What other movies are barbed wire better than? I guess like has Pamela Anderson been in that one? I don't know. I haven't really watched it, so I want to see it because it was famously the movie that screwed over Mystery Science Theater movie, and that is coming up on its 30th anniversary, as well as Barbed Wire. What would be the modern day Cleopatra first to you? I don't think you could do one. Maybe John Carter, but like Disney had Avengers like a couple months later, so I don't think it would be the same thing. Do you blame? Hold on, wait. I did see a super chat, which I will get to. Do you support? Do you hold on? Where were we? Do you blame the stream freezing on Chilly Willy? I blame Chilly Willy only brings positive things. Eating pasta and wings and watching YouTube. Thanks, Super Kirby Dude. I appreciate it. Cheers to you. Sorry if this. I really don't. I actually take decent care of my computer. I need to do some updates and stuff like that, but we'll see. Same Powers. Who is an actor you'd watch a movie about them sitting in a chair? Ooh, maybe Jim Carrey. So, Nathaniel Fogel, favorite ska band? Maybe is UB40 the one who did Mirror in the Bathroom? Who did Mirror in the Bathroom? I'm gonna look this up because I like that Mirror in the Bathroom. Well, no, never mind. The Specials. But English Beat. Never mind. English Beat or The Specials. But I'd probably say The Specials. I mean, The Specials are like. But if they don't count for some reason, I'm gonna say that. All right. Is that everything? All right. Let's do the super chat. No, that's the live chat. Thank you. Okay. I want to give a shout out to everyone who gave a super chat tonight. Those being Medela Butterfly, Cornbread, Black Seax, Nathaniel Fogo, William Elman, Medela Butterfly, Cinnamon, William Elman, and Super Kirby Dude. I very much appreciate it. Cheers to all of you. As I said before, there will probably not be a video tomorrow, although I guess I'm technically in tomorrow, but whatever. You can ask a question now on Blitty, but there will definitely be something on Saturday and Sunday. I think I really wanted to do a Chilly Willy in January, but I think I will probably do the other network shorts as actual shorts that aren't a part of the show. That was just, I realized I have so much going on. Should I see Mercy in IMAX? Absolutely. Get the full experience. People in my Regal Unlimited Facebook group were like, why do people hate Mercy? I saw it in RPX 3D, like Chris Pratt said I should on Regis and or Kelly and whoever. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, what? Anyway, Regal Unlimited people are interesting. There will be more stuff coming out. I think the next review will be Marty Supreme. I do have other stuff coming out in the works and stuff like that. And sorry, last weekend sort of fell apart. I had so much. I was Avatar. That review took a while, and then my seeing Avatar thing, which almost came out before. I had like a copyright thing with that Miley Cyrus song, and it eventually let me go. So anyway, I saw the